Welcome to Interface. Today we are with Dr. Ajit. Dr. Ajit is from University of Alaska, US. Welcome, Ajit.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Ajit, you were a teacher of economics for a few years in India. And after that, you have joined in Reserve Bank of India and you were director for research department. Then again, you have joined in the teaching after your Sydney research work. And what was the reason to coming back to teaching?
Yeah, I started my career as a teacher, and then I moved to the research department of Reserve Bank of India. There also I continued my research. In between, I went and secured my PhD from University of Sydney, and then I came back to Reserve Bank of India. I was the head of the International Relations Department, and then when an opportunity arose in abroad, I went back to my passion, which was closer to my heart, that is teaching. I joined the University of Northern British Columbia as an associate prof, and last year I moved to United States at University of Alaska in the finance program.
As a teacher, from India to Canada and from Canada to Alaska, what differences you have experienced as a teacher?
So the curriculum which we have in India is far different from what we have in United States and Canada. The curriculum, not only the curriculum, the way it is delivered, the pedagogy of it is quite different. And in the abroad, we not only emphasize domain knowledge, but also its practical applications and its delivery in a public platform.
Social network and social relationships. Can you define social network?
Social network is a very prominent entity which plays an important role in most of the outcomes, whether it is migration or whether it is business. So we have seen that in the migration process, people move from one place to another with the help of entities like social networks, which could be family, it could be community. They provide important information about prospective jobs within the country and outside, and they play a very important role in enabling people to move from one place to another in an efficient way.
Okay, so the Indians basically look for a better job outside. Bengalis, Sikhs, Keralites, and many other people from the different states are moving outside, going abroad for their employment. How do the social network works out in the process of migration from India?
So people move from one place to another, without knowing the what we call as what is in store in the other destination place. If you move from one place to another without any knowledge of what is going to happen there, that we call it as speculative migration, which have happened in the initial phases. But in the later years, the prime motive for migration is either your labor market condition in your home country or home economy is very bad, or maybe in the destination place, the income or wages are high. In the process of moving from your home destination to the final destination where you migrate, social networks, which could be family and friends, play a very important role in facilitating that smooth transition from home country to the final destination.
The family means the parents or the brothers or sisters?
Family by definition includes everyone, father, mother, your uncles, your all extended family. all of them are included under the definition of family. So family is the first source of information for the destination places.
Whether the far relatives are working as the members in the social network?
The relatives who are or family members or extended family who are in the destination countries, they are the vital conduit for this information about the prospective job.
When the in-laws are working as the members in the network, that means the son-in-law will be invited or influenced to take to abroad. Have you noted that process?
Yes, in-laws have a motive to ensure that your prospective son-in-law or daughter-in-law are well settled. So they have every motive to ensure that the prospective son-in-law or daughter-in-law are well placed after the marriage.
So that's a national phenomenon.
It is a national phenomenon. It happens in everywhere. In some places, family is very close. Sometimes it is the friendship circle which is the facilitator, but most of the time it is family and extended family which is the conduit for this information about prospective jobs.
So you might have noted that social networks are functioning in a universal arena.
It is there everywhere. Internationally, if you look at when people move from countries after Second World War or before that, it is the social network which played an important role in the movement of people from one country, especially from Europe to United States.
Whether you have noted that Asians or Africans have more networks rather than the Western society?
Asian networks are very powerful.
Why?
They are because Asian culture by definition is family oriented compared to the Western culture, and Asian networks are very close, very dense, and they facilitate better, or their services are more forthcoming than other cultures and regions.
As a teacher in North America, in Canada and Alaska, have you seen the social networks in that places?
Yes. If you see in many places, you will see a cluster of people from the same region. Why it happens? Why not from other regions? It is a family and friendship, friends circle, which plays an important role in bringing these people to these destinations. So, a large number of clusters, or in a cluster, a particular ethnicity or religion is an example where family and friends play a very important role in the movement of people across the globe.
Do you agree with the statement that social networks are playing a positive role in the developmental process of a country?
Social networks play a very important role. Suppose I don't have a job here. Social networks provide me an opportunity to seek employment elsewhere. Otherwise, my entire investment in education will go waste. So, in a process, first of all, they are doing an important role. They are a source of information about prospective jobs. They help in once I reach the destination. These family and friends provide us the initial comfort level for settlement.
So the people who starts from a country, so that is known as a place of departure, it positively functions. And at the same time, whether that is affecting the social structure of place of arrival, so where they reach.
When you reach a destination place, if you are competing with your domestic labor market, sometimes it creates friction. Most of the time, if you are in the Middle East, you are basically going to supplement the existing labor force. So there is no conflict. But if you go there and assume a very high paying job, there could be some resentment, but that resentment is very minuscule.
Through the social network, when the people from one country is moving away, moving to other places, when the migration stream is in a higher rate, that country will suffer with the laborers, workers, and that may cause internal migration in that country.
Movement from one place to another country, I call it immigration, which is the standard definition. And immigration, which is movement into that destination, can happen simultaneously. For example, in the state of Kerala, most of the educated and non-educated and technical labor force move to, let's say, in the Middle East. It creates shortage within the Kerala economy. But at the same time, you will see lot of people who are educated, technically qualified, they move from other states, from Bihar, maybe Bengal, from Assam. They move and fill the gap in this Kerala economy. So, immigration creates some shortage of certain skills, but at the same time, once a shortage is known to others, it is automatically filled through another social network.
So that is what is happening in Kerala and some other states.
Yes.
Then the migration, the international migration as well as internal migrations are positively functioning for the development of a place.
It has positive impact because people who go to the destination countries provide remittance to their family members. So there is an income transfer from abroad to the domestic, from where people have gone. So there is an income flow which is positive. At the same time, it can create certain shortages, certain skills like mason, carpentry or electrician may be in short supply. But the shortage is temporary. If information is available instantaneously, there will be inflow to the shortage skill categories. So it will equilibrate. There will be some temporary imbalances in the labor market. There will be a large fluctuations in wages. That is possible, but in the long run it will equilibrate. It will go to a new phase of equilibrium.
In that sense, when people migrate to one place, one country, that may create some conflicts also. Suppose the son of soils. So the issue related with the son of soils or the conflict between the immigrants and the natives.
That is happening now, not in the Middle East. That is happening in Europe. So with the creation of European Union, a lot of people have moved from the erstwhile Eastern Europe countries to the Western Europe. That has created some tension, social tension in the labor market. That is natural because under the Schengen Agreement of European Union, free mobility of labor is allowed under law. So you can't prevent that. So there may be some temporary uneasiness, but it has not flared up.
What economists say to control such a conflict or to maintain a peaceful environment, from the public administration, in which way that can be stopped, the conflict between the immigrants and the locals?
Because when somebody is moving from one country to another, he is not a liability. He brings his social capital into the country. That is an asset. A good example is United States. People from all over the world immigrated into United States, and that has created innovation and entrepreneurship, and over a period of time it will be positive and the country will gain in the process.
do you think that the migration will affect the place of departure? When the people, the skilled and the trained or educated people move from Kerala to outside or from Bengal to outside, whether the economic conditions or the development will be affected by the migration, a brain drain may be take place. How do you evaluate it?
So if, let us say, highly skilled people, doctors and engineers, they move, it might create a temporary vacuum.
Temporary?
Temporary, because
why?
It will be filled later on. Okay, if doctors move from there, maybe doctors from Tamil Nadu or Karnataka, when people move, the supply gets shortened, then the wages will go up. The high wages will induce people to move into the country. So it is a transitory problems are there, but on the whole, it is positive movement of people and the social gelling together. It is always a positive for the country, and the social harmonization comes up only when people move from one place to another and they integrate with the society there. The problem comes if you go to another place and don't mingle with the local population, then it creates immigrant silos. That is a problem.
How do you evaluate this process of brain drain on the basis of Amartya Sen's theory?
So Amartya Sen's main argument is in a development process, capabilities and functioning is very important. Capabilities is maybe, by getting a job, your wage and income goes up. But Amartya Sen's main argument is the functioning. It is your interface with other members of society is very important. Functioning. If you are isolated, then you might have very good income. You are socially isolated. You will have mental problems, mental breakdowns. That creates a barrier. But if you are integrated, if you are able to function in the society with other people, then functioning happens, and that is positive for economic development and social progress.
So it's a different question. The people are migrating or people are moving away due to the political reasons. Yeah. So the people from Syria moves to the Europe, yeah, or the Palestinians to the different places like that. How do you explain the process of this type of migration or this type of flight with the theory of social network?
See, for example, even the movement of people from Syria to the Europe or to America creates tension, because this is a different type of migration. You are forced to flee from a place of hardship. Your life is at stake. You might be killed, your children's livelihood is at stake, they may be killed. You flee from a conflict zone to a peace zone. The peace zone could be Europe, the peace zone could be America, peace zone could be Middle East. Some countries invite them with open arms, like Germany. Although they have large unemployment, they take it a humanitarian view, and they welcome these what they call refugees. Refugees means they are not moving on economic compulsions, they are moving because their life is threatened. Okay, so some countries do not welcome them because of their domestic reasons, but many countries are welcoming them with open arms. But in like any other country, there are dissenting voices. Okay, they are very small, but they are vocal.
Dissenting sounds comes from even US.
Yes. Migration is a big issue in United States, because in United States there is large undocumented workers from Mexico, 12 million undocumented workers. Okay, they have moved into the country, and they don't have a visa, they don't have a work permit, they don't have a social insurance number. They work in the shadow economy, the underground economy. But they are not taking the well-paid jobs. They are basically working in low-paid jobs. They are contributing to the US economy. If you deport them, 12 million people, then the wages of this sector will go up. The products we buy will cost you more. But when people come from other ethnicity, always there is a conflict because the job situation in those markets may not be very good. So ultimately it comes to what is the local labor market situation.
So there is a chance to coming back to the place of departure, their native place. Suppose if the people who have gone for the employment purposes in a crucial situation, in a conflictual situation, if they come back to their native places from, say, from the Middle East to the Kerala or to the Andhra Pradesh, then what will be the consequence?
So they come back, that is a negative because it will simply increase the supply of labor for these occupations. They may be unemployed, but when they are coming back, they are coming with the skill set which they learned in the foreign country back, and that could be an asset. And the question is, how will you use the skill set which they earned abroad in the local economy?
So you take that process also as a positive.
It happens because the oil boom is not going to last forever.
Okay.
3 years or 5 years down the line, this is going to happen, and we have to be prepared for that. We have to take it positively. If you take it negatively, our mental state of mind will be in a conflict environment. We don't want those kind of things to happen in the country.
Okay, another aspect of social network which is relevant at present, social media is playing a crucial role in the network process. How do you evaluate social media?
Social media is nothing but another manifestation of social network. For example, Facebook, Twitter, or let's say WhatsApp or Snapchat. These are basically platforms which will enable people to interact. Okay, it is another form of social network. It may not be family and friends, but it is a technological platform which will enable people to exchange ideas, to share their views, to share their sentiment, to share their frustration. Okay, sharing frustration reduces stress. Okay, so these are platforms under which business can take advantage, because these platforms enable you to sell things in a modern way. You sitting at home, you can design clothes, manufacture clothes, and if you have a membership, if you have a tie-up with a courier, the global world is the market for you. So these platforms enable households to become modern day corporates.
Okay, the social media as an influencing force, it is powerful in cities. So the migration takes place more from the villages or from the areas or localities where development has not made an impact. Then the social media will influence the villages or the ruralites in future also?
If they have access to the social media, unless you have access to internet, you cannot use social media. So if you have at least an access to internet in the rural area, then the world is your gateway. Okay, if you don't have access, then that is a major barrier for integration.
When the volume of migration increases, when the mass migration takes place, then how do it affects the country from which their departure takes place, and when where they reach?
Yeah. So we have to make a distinction between a mass migration, which is a forced migration. Most of the time, mass migration, we call it them as refugees. Mass migration happens when there is a conflict in a particular place, and the conflict escalates, and people are not able to live peacefully. They are not able to avoid conflict. Even if they live in a particular their own house, their lives are at risk.
This is the migration due to war or the political calamities. So even otherwise, the unemployment or poverty may create mass migration. In such case, mass migration, how do you differentiate such a type of migration from the individual migration?
Okay, most of the time the conflict happens either based on ethnic grounds, religious grounds. It may be same religion, but there are denominations in which people are in conflict, like the Sunnis and Shiites. Okay, that can create conflict situations, and that can escalate into a fully blown war. And then other powers also interfere and create problems. Instead of diffusing the situation, interference most of the time escalates the situation and damages the economy, their livelihood, their own existence. So most of the time, if it is a large, it could be because of what I call ethnic reasons. It could be on account of inequality. A particular tribe or a particular ethnicity may be capturing the economic power, the others are deprived. That could create a conflict. Okay, so it could be economic. So if you look at some of the things which happened in Middle East, which we call the Arab Spring, came out of economic inequality. Okay, which later on manifest into a what I call a religious war. Okay, the origin of most of the conflict is the large inequality which persists in these societies. Some people enjoy most of the benefits, others are deprived. This creates animosity which sometimes manifests in what I call a religious war.
So the main cause for the migration is still economic, and even the political or religious or historical causes may be also work out in the process of migration.
Historically, for example,
so for example, the Keralites have a better relationship with Arabs in the past.
Yeah.
So this past, glorious past, what they call, have influenced the process of migration from the northern Kerala to the Arab countries.
Yes, this is what we call historical ties. We had trade with the Middle East or the Arab from time immemorial, and this trade ties over a period of time has got solidified, and that relationship, which I will call it a social relationship, was instrumental in many of the Keralites getting job in Middle East. When the oil boom came after 1973, most of the hiring in the oil sector and in the industrial sector and the social sector, healthcare sector came from Kerala because of our historical ties with what you call as the spice trade. If you look at the origin of the relationship with the Arab world, came on account of our trade in spices between these two countries.
Related with the education, do you think that the social network will help for the educational purpose to move out for education to the Western society or any other society have good educational facilities?
Yes, most of the opportunity or the opportunity of education in Western countries, the information about this come from people who have gone earlier. Okay, it could be your family, it could be your friends, it could be your community members. They have provided this vital information about the type of education, the type of courses they have, and that was the instrument through which people make connections, people make contacts. They also provide you what are the requirements for securing admission in these places. So they are also another form of social network. Ultimately, social network encompasses a wide area of not only family, extended family, but also friends, community. Okay. For example, in Canada, most of the migrants come from two districts of Punjab, Jalandhar and Hoshiarpur. Why not from other states, other districts? It is the social network which plays an important role in migration from Punjab to Canada or United States.
My last question, without any support of social network, without any support of family member or influence from the family member or call from the family member or friends, you have gone to Sydney for education and you have gone to Canada and US for the employment. And whether there is and your family members are still in India. So whether this family will influence your social network and there is a chance to coming back to India?
So I would say that when you age like a wine becomes richer as you age. More the age, better the wine. As I age, I come back to my roots, and that is my desire.